In the event that those two clips haven't persuaded you to pick up this game, I'm going to have to switch to plan B, which is to use my genetically engineered powers of persuasion, also known as the British accent. Because today I want to talk about Titanfall 2, because this game for the month of December is free for PlayStation 4 users. The game is absolutely free, you pick it up now and you keep it for all time, absolutely free. And I think it's absolutely worth it. This is one of the games that is absolutely worth your time, and I wanted to cover why I think that. And the main reason is because this game is unrivaled in the fun factor it produces. Because it just gives you superhero moments that are just fantastic and epic, and moments that you just do not forget because they are just so epic. Like when you grapple off a tower and you fly across the map and one tap someone, it is incredible. Or perhaps you're using the Kraber and you get some really awesome mid-air shot. Or perhaps you end up in a massive Titan fight and you pull off a cheeky execution on one of the enemy players. It feels really satisfying, and it is one of the coolest experiences in gaming. And while some players do certainly play this game a lot slower, may even camp on rooftops, which can be quite annoying, the game gives you so many tools to be able to counter that. If you want to grapple slingshot yourself across the map, you can get behind them before they've even noticed. Perhaps they're hiding in a tower, no problem, you can get yourself up there pretty easily, and there's many abilities that allow you to do that. And that's the thing, this game just gives you the tools to have these moments. Perhaps you're a newer player, you might find the movement a little bit difficult. I'd recommend you stick with the R201, the Carbine or the Car SMG. These weapons are fairly reliable, they're pretty easy to use, and they're simple to understand, which makes them much easier when you're trying to get used to the movement, trying to understand how you can chain wall runs and use some of the tactical abilities to get yourself across the map faster. Then, as you get further on, you can start branching out into some of the more niche weapons. Perhaps you want to run around and become EPGs with the Grenadier weapons. Go for it. Perhaps you really like the Cold War? Try it out. Maybe you want to become a wingman god. That gun is really difficult to use. I've been trying, but I can never quite chain more than 2 kills with it. Maybe you want to be a Kraber player. That gun is literally a dopamine factory with the sound it makes. The projectile shots, the lead time, and the general feel of the weapon in the game is fantastic, and it's one of the best sniper rifles in any multiplayer game. And then the tactical abilities allow you to get yourself into positions where you can use these weapons to their best effect. The grapple ability is really fun for slingshotting yourself across the map, and sometimes getting yourself out of danger. It's really fun for high mobility players because you can traverse the map faster than pretty much any other character. Perhaps even you might like the stim ability, which gives you an instant boost of health and a massive boost in movement speed. This can be really good for chaining really far wall runs, or perhaps just surprising an enemy who wasn't expecting you. Perhaps you're more of an evasive player and you don't necessarily want to get caught off guard by all these high mobility players. Choose the phase shift ability. This will give you the ability to briefly phase into an alternate dimension, allowing you to not take any damage unless another player follows you into it. Then there's also the cloak ability. Perhaps you want to be a bit sneaky, or you just want to throw off your enemy's aim for a couple of seconds. This ability can be quite useful. And it overall adds to the really interesting meta of the game. Yes, players can use the slightly easier and potentially slightly cheap abilities like the AWOL, but at the same time you've got all these high mobility tacticals which allow you to counter it. You can get around them. And for me, the high mobility is what's really fun in this game. Because it can be difficult to learn the wall running. It is challenging. But once you get it, once you get up really high, you start moving really fast, other players will not always expect you to be there. And it means that you can then start working on your aim again because they aren't quite ready for you. And overall, it will start improving your game as you go forward. And then, of course, there's still the Titans, because there's even more variety in the Titan combat. If you're a methodical player who likes managing your resources, Ion is the Titan for you. If you want to run around to the soundtrack of Team America, Legion will be the Titan for you. Do you want to run around with a giant great big sword? Ronin will be the perfect hit and run Titan for you. Or perhaps you just want a Titan that reminds you of all your Naughties mixtapes? Scorch will be the Titan for you. There is a lot of variety in the type of Titans, how they play, and the skills you have to master. And there is so much counterplay as well. They lead to some really cool moments and some really awesome team fights. And it's the culmination of all of these abilities, weapons and Titans which really makes the multiplayer fantastic. You've got so many tools to have those superhero moments and just really get lost in the universe of this game. But if the multiplayer doesn't turn out to be for you, there is also a campaign, which in my opinion is probably one of the single best first-person shooter campaigns out there. It's a game that's really well designed for what it wants to be. It allows you to wall run and it encourages you to use all this 3D movement and get the most out of it and have the really cool, awesome moments in this game. There's some really, really well designed levels. For me personally, my favourite has to be the time travel level. You essentially get the ability to phase forwards and backwards in time, and you have to use it to complete platforming puzzles. You have to use it to get further through the level. And if you want to speedrun it, it's really fun trying to do that. You've got to time the time travel just right and know exactly where the items are that you need to get to. And it's really fun. I remember when I first played it, I was just sat there thinking, wow, this is such a well designed level. And what's more, it's got the variety. And the early parts of the game, you're off on your own, you're doing pretty much your own thing for the first couple of hours. And just when you start to think, I kind of want something different to do, boom, massive Titan fight, huge battles going on, and it just switches it up entirely. The game just knows when to give you something new to do, and it's fantastic. And I absolutely love this campaign. And it's why, even if you're not so interested in the multiplayer, I would still highly recommend and encourage you to pick up this game. It's so worth it. There are so many things in this game that will just leave you thinking, wow, what the hell just happened? What is going on? It's a fantastic game if you just want pure fun. It may not have the competitive mode that other games thrive off, or perhaps the progression system like in Call of Duty, but it just gives you all the tools you have to create memorable moments in gaming. And that is why I really would highly recommend you pick up this game if you're on PlayStation 4. Now, if you're not on that platform and you're on Xbox or PC, I would keep your eyes open. There's been a lot of the larger community members definitely advocating for this to happen on other platforms because they love this game, the community absolutely adore this game, and they just want it to succeed. And if this were to happen, yet again, pick it up. It's absolutely worth your time. But anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and I really hope it's convinced some of you to pick up this game while it's still free, and perhaps even when it's not. But anyway, I've been the Guy on the Gamertag, and I'll see you out on the frontier.